as I said to some of you, we started this seminar this time a little bit different than other seminars by immediately going to the heart of the problem, so to speak. The heart of the problem, which is fear, oftentimes. And fear brings with it a sense of pain. Some of you really went into that pain. Some of you felt it. Others here didn't, probably. But I just want to take 15 minutes or so to go through this with you, to see if somebody has to share or wants to share something about what happened before lunchtime. Is there someone who wants to share about what happened? About what they went through? Becca?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will try to see it. I will try to see it in English.
Great.
My first time.
First time for everything.
I came to a life. There I was no male nor female.
Yeah.
I was a kind of header.
Knight.
Yes, on a horse in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought my love to the people. And I knew at that moment that I was fighting and murdered because of that love.
Mm-hmm.
The strength of that love, the kraft.
Power.
The power, yeah. I feel it very deep in my heart, the pain.
Yeah.
I felt it, yeah. That's all, but now I can, so I have also recognized all men in my life.
Mm-hmm.
To begin with my father,
Yeah.
who wouldn't see that love in me.
Okay.
And who made me very, very little.
Yeah. And how about women in your life?
I think that yes, also my mother
Mm-hmm.
were jealous because there's an attraction for men to me.
Yeah.
But after that attraction, they will not see me as a loving person.
Okay.
Also, when I recognized this man, there are many,
Yeah.
several. I recognized also that I loved the seed of that man very much.
Mm-hmm.
But the man himself could not recognize that seed of love in themselves.
Yeah.
So in my life.
So it's about the personality that they grew into, basically.
Yes.
That was difficult for you to connect to.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But that is, of course, based on, personality, energy is based on fear, is based on emotion, parameters, limitations. So that is something that you've always had trouble dealing with externally. But that's also why it shows up internally in your life. You are given limitations in all kinds of situations.
Yes.
As you know.
And by men, all that limitations are given by men or by women who were very jealous, yes.
So what aspect of you is jealous of you?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wait for the answer.
Yeah. Well, everything inside of your life is also a reflection from deep within, right? So, an interesting thing is that if I hadn't spoken about women, you would have automatically spoken about men, right? So there is a male energy within you, which is basically the source of your power, or at least 50% of your power, that has always been cut out from under you because it wasn't recognizing the other part. And I guess that has to do, if I'm just looking now, I guess it has to do with the fact that so much feminine energy has been repressed on the planet. Especially this society has been doing that greatly, a great deal. Other societies like the Mayans and the Incas, they did acknowledge the female presence, but then they ended up, you know, sacrificing women to the gods, supposedly. So there's always been a type of disconnect between male and female energy. And now obviously as we are going to the state of neutrality, which is free energy, we have to blend the two again. And it happens in both male bodies and female bodies. But in the female body you will oftentimes have run-ins with male masculine energy that is trying to put you down. It can come in the form of a woman too. If I look at your mother, I see a very authoritative figure, a very strong figure. Lots of male energy actually going on in there, in the sense of, I'm talking old energy now, I'm talking duality now, in the sense of creating fights, situations where egos can collide, you know. I see that a lot with her. But that shows something about you, and if that happens in any of your lives, it always shows something about you, that you should marry that aspect of your male energy again, to bring that out. Because if you see, and that's why we come back to the seed fear exercise now, what you did with that night life that you had, you were murdered for speaking your truth. You see?
Yes.
So there, probably that's where the disbalance was created, where the unbalance was created between male and female energy. You see? So what is the result then? You have created this gatekeeper that's going to come into your life, probably through male bodies most of the time, or at least through male energy, that's going to try to put you down so that you don't step into that power. You see how that works? Yeah. You want to say something, Steve? Okay. Well, that's a process that we see with, thank you, that we see with so many different people. I guess that more people here have their story to share, and it's always very interesting to go back to one of those lifetimes. Now you could say, you know, in these new days, in these last few days, we have seen that it's not about the male, it's not about the female, it's not about other lifetimes, it's about this lifetime, right? That's what we're all saying, and that's true. But you mustn't forget a very important thing, and that is that if you speak about not just a lifetime, but a top life, as Ikara or so many others would say, this is our top life, the culmination, the coming together of all these energies that we have built up. So we sometimes have to look back into previous incarnations, but to recognize that incarnation as our own, as the life that is happening right now. Even though as a knight, Bega had a different body, a different personality, that aspect of herself in this top life is still being played out, you see. And that's what's been happening to you. Actually, in other lifetimes, it would be more easy to say, oh, that has to do with my youth, or it has to do with that. But now we have this entire array of lives, all combined, all coming together, like all these little carpets here, you see? And they all come together and blend into this one big carpet. And the fabric of one specific carpet is always going to be different because of the experiences that you've had walking on it. You see? And that's very important these days. If you are going to look at older lives, at past lives, as you would call them then in linearity, never forget that what you are looking at is just an aspect of you, and the only reason why it is important is that it is being played out in your life right now. So it has nothing to do with that night, not in that other life. It is what that night learned, did, couldn't handle, whatever, and that is now being transferred into you. And that is something that we all have to be very careful for, because the top life is a very important lifetime. It is one where we would come back onto planet Earth and do all of those things that we initially set up that we would do. But we have to take into account that we come back in then with all our energy present. And the higher self will no longer say, okay, I'm going to separate this lifetime and this lifetime and this lifetime. No, you're just taking back, you're taken back out completely and fully and put back in as a whole. So basically you could say that who is in this body right now is not just a lifetime, it is the culmination of all lifetimes, which would then translate into what? The culmination of all lifetimes, all your energy, what would that translate into? Does anybody know?
The I am.
The I am, or the higher self. Yeah. Yeah, and the higher self, and that's the tricky part, the higher self is also, how shall I say this, is also triggered by the game of ego and the game of personality. Only, and that makes it easier, this time, the personality that you're playing, the ego that has taken hold of you, is so very shallow. Actually, it's so easy to see through. That's why all of you here now, at a very young age, relatively speaking, are seeing through all of these things. Do you know that in the past, it used to take, in older lifetimes, it used to take up to the moment of death, when you were on your deathbed, as they said, where you finally realized again who you were. It didn't matter if you lived till 20 or 30 or 50 or 80 or 120. Usually it would last up until the very last moments that you were drawing breath, before you finally again realized that you are a higher self, that you are a spirit, that you are whole, that you are infinite. And now in this lifetime, the personality that you have created for yourself and the ego that comes with that is so shallow, is so easy to break, basically, is just a shell that you are wearing because, you know, in the old energy world, that is the game that is being played. You come in as a human and you take a name and you take a face and you take a body and you take all of those things and you create that lifetime. But really, if you look at it, and I can honestly say that I think I speak for everybody here, if you look at your life completely, then it's been so very easy. It's been so very easy to wake up. It's been so very easy to find the signals. It's been so easy to find that piece of information that you needed to ignite that spark, to see that you were more than just that body, to see that you were more than just the mind, than just the things around you that try to define you. So maybe that's a different viewpoint that you can have now that you've gone through the seed fear exercise, because you have just now, most of you I guess, have just gone through one lifetime, like you said, the night, and has connection to Avalon, by the way. That's what I see as you were speaking about that. But actually, all of those lifetimes, every single time, about 99% of the lives that you have gone through are in fact lives that were cut off too soon. Lives that were disrupted because you were at a point of showing your power. And now you are here again, bringing all of that together, everything that you have learned. And the only thing that remains now, the only thing that is left, is your choice. As we did last time, the previous seminar here in the Linde, we had the firm yes, if you remember. I saw it just the other day on tape. It's beautiful how that energy builds up if you go through the O and the Ah and the Eh and the I energy. And to end up with that firm yes that the entire group said, that was just amazing. That was really amazing to witness. So that is all that is left. If you have a chance every single day to do that for yourself, to give yourself that yes, to recognize that you have all of those lives, and that you are all building them together now, bringing them together, putting them back into one whole, then you need not look for your higher self, because then you will find that you have already reconstructed it. That's already there, and you just need to take the wrapping off the box, the gift box that was given to you, that you gave to yourself in this lifetime. So, is there anyone else who wants to share before we go on?
What you said, it went into my heart.
Yeah.
When you said the separation of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And then I hear my daughter saying to me, Mama, it's like, always like you think you know it better than me. And she's a psychologist, so in a sense.
Yeah.
And I said to her, mostly, so it's not that I know more, but there are other things, but she couldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That was for me, this was a great recognition of that fact. So maybe I was one of those who made the separation in Atlantis.
Don't worry about that. Everybody sitting here and everybody who is awakening spiritually on this world right now, almost everybody was there in Atlantis.
I felt it on that way, so that on a certain point in the exercises morning, I just felt like I exploded, and in all of, it was not nice to feel like that. Just nothing left, and so.
Why was that not nice? Let's stop right there. Why is that not nice?
A lot of things for myself were lost.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, I think it's a bad thing, but at the moment it felt,
Okay, let's go a little bit deeper into that. What was lost? Exactly.
There was just one sprinkle. What was left? And the other things were lost. So I think all the illusions and everything was not necessary to be messy.
Yeah. But I'm very happy that you bring up that point, because I see that come back a lot actually during conversations with people that are going through letting go of illusions and everything. You see how Adamus talks about the void and being the sun, being the center, right? In pathways and potentials. I keep coming back to that channel because it was such an important one. But he speaks about how you no longer are a void that wants to be filled, but you are a complete energy. You are a sun that is constantly creating. So instead of needing things to come to you, that type of abundance that people are always talking about, which basically is 2D and 4D, you are now creating the abundance, and you are beaming that outside of you. You see? Now, the strange thing is that there is a type of, and this is a trick of the mind, that there is a type of reversal going on. You see? You are made to believe that when you are in a void energy, in an empty energy that needs to be filled, you are full already. You see? That's what society keeps telling you. You have a personality, you have an identity, and as such you are full, and you are just picking out in society all of your desires, everything that you want, never realizing that actually what you are is empty. And once you get to that center, once you get to that sun energy, the total sun that you are, you might feel very empty. Why? Because there is nothing left to fill, and you are whole. The reason why we feel full on this planet, like, let's say for instance, I have eaten food now, we have all had lunch, and we're full, right? We say we are full, that's because we are very filled up, but there is still room. There is still room to put something else in. If you let yourself go, you would say, I'm going to have another bit of dessert, or I'm going to have another French fry, or I'm going to have another whatever, but at a certain point you were trained to say, no, okay, I'm done, I'm full now. But you aren't full. You are filled up. And there is still room. If you were to push that container, and if you compress it, then you were still able to put more stuff in. But if you are that sun, if you are that beam of energy that is complete and sending out, you see, then you aren't just filled up, you are filled to the brim completely. There is nothing left to fill. So you become a totality then, you become a whole, and it's very easy for the mind to at that point say, whoa, what's happening? What's happening? I'm just this tiny little bit. You see, as you said, there's just one spark left. But one spark is all you need. It's about peeling away all of those layers that would keep you away from that. But it's very good that you pointed it out, because it's a different perspective, really, a different viewpoint that you are looking at reality from. So that's good. You need to take all those layers away, because all those layers anyway were just telling you to fill yourself up with things that you didn't need. You don't need that. So even if you don't see a past life, you will feel something during such an exercise. It's nice.
What also happened was that the moments in my life I could see this is the truth. It's from people who died. It's a contact with them. So
yeah,
I didn't find them in this life, in life, but friends who died, or an uncle or something like that, which I had contact with.
After their death.
Then that was for me was reality, but because the messages they gave were so universal.
No, Maya. Last time, at the last seminar that we did here, we were speaking about you having those 144 layers of DNA activated. To you, I need to still tell you a lot about that, I know, but to you it would be very natural to speak to someone who has supposedly died, because your DNA knows no limitations. Your DNA that is now fully active and that is completely working on all dimensions isn't going to say, oh, just because that person is no longer in 3D, I can't talk to him anymore, you know? The actual conversations for you probably happen elsewhere. Yeah. And so and I know that is one of the things that you are going to work on in the end to help other people, because more and more people will awaken that DNA. And I'm telling you, if you start understanding what is really going on with you and how your body is really working, body versus energy and everything like that, how your actual system processes information, processes energy, you're going to become a very powerful healer. And I'm not speaking about healing necessarily with hands and everything. I just mean a healer that is going to help people understand who they truly are and how their body and their system actually works. So that is something that is waiting for you. I know that sounds like a far-fetched right now. Yeah, I know.
I can feel something, but I don't see it.
That's good. Just focus on the feeling. So that's important. Well, thank you. Thank you. So anyway, there's a lot more to be said on the seed fear, basically, but I don't want to be spending too much time this seminar having all the group conversations, although obviously we are going to be doing that. Our focus this time is to bring you through all of those illusions and to work through those. And that is also one of the reasons why we have opted, for those who were there last time and the time before that, you will remember that back then we used to work with groups. We worked with the groups coming together and 5 or 6 people in a group, and I noticed that many people were having contact and communication within their own group, but they didn't take it all the way to the rest of the group that was here. So that's why this time we decided just to have one group energy. So please, I invite all of you, really, during the breaks, during lunch, during dinner, during the parties in your room that you will probably have, the get-togethers and everything, please exchange. I know it's an illusion, it's the second one, but I implore all of you, exchange as much as you can with each other. Really, take the effort. You know, you are here now. I know that the natural tendency is going to be to close yourself off, to maybe even withdraw to your rooms early and to process all of the information. This time, I would implore you to make sure that you have as much connection and exchange as possible. Because you're now at a specific point, a breaking point. A breaking point for the mind. And that breaking point is a very, very imperative one. It isn't an easy process, but once you're through it, all is going to get so much bigger. And although, and that's the last thing I'm going to say, although so many people think that going through these illusions and letting them go, that means alienating people, that it means letting go of connections. It doesn't mean that. It means deepening connections, going to a place of unification and oneness that is so deep, that is so pure, that you can hardly even think back. It is impossible to think back to a time when that wasn't there. You see, it always takes time for people to open up to each other. It is strange to me to wait for that time to happen. That is the difference. If I look at myself and the other person, usually, I see a lot of shades of grey that are waiting to be filled in, to be brought into a color spectrum, basically. And usually that means a time of waiting until that other person opens up. And it's not about the opening up that people think it is about. It is not about the opening up in an old energy world. It is about opening up so fully and completely that you don't even know that you are open and connected to the other one yet, that you don't even know that there's a difference. You immediately feel everything. You immediately hear and see and touch and taste everything. And not just in the moment, but that the other one has gone through at all times. You see? So that's what we're going to continue to work on in the coming days. But I guess we should leave this conversation right now, and that we should go on to the energy of Nicaragua, because I know a lot of them have been waiting to come in. So